Okay, so this is my proposal presentation. So the title of it is Social Media and Its Effects on High School Special Education Students' Academic Achievement. And obviously, I created it. So the problem here that I observed that led to this whole process was that there is an abundance of individuals that are just glued to their phones, like all day. Even if it's not all day, for a lot of time, whether on a daily basis or a weekly basis. Um, this is everywhere. It's not just in schools, it's walking down the street, it's going hanging out with friends, hanging out with family. You see it just about anywhere you go. So, in a society like that, and with all the social media sites out there to choose from, it's just become commonplace to see this happening, and it's just become normal to all of us, I'm sure, uh, regardless of what age you are, where you're from. This is probably a phenomenon that you are familiar with. So you might think that it's pretty harmless just scrolling through social media and passing time. Uh, Maybe you think you don't have anything else to do, so you just pass some time. But research has shown that it's actually pretty detrimental to specifically students. It's been suggested that addiction to technology leads to experiences that negatively affect the physical and mental health of the person and subsequently causes problems in family, school, work, and social life. So, as educators, we should probably consider how these effects are impacting our students. So, the purpose of the study that I want to do is to study exactly that, the impact that excessive social media usage has on the academic success of students. However, I am a special education teacher. I have been for the past 2 years, and I'm about to be for a third year. So, given that and the fact that I enjoy it and work with these kids a lot, I wanted to explore how it affects special education students or students with disabilities, knowing that these students already struggle with a lot in their lives, whether that's in school or elsewhere. They can struggle with motivation, skills, even motor abilities, like just being able to get around, struggling to get the support that they need to be successful, general functioning struggles, and more. I wanted to determine just how much these students are affected by high levels of social media usage. So, in terms of the importance of this study, as I already discussed, special education students are already at a disadvantage in school systems. A lot of the school systems are well staffed in special education, and a lot of special education teachers do amazing things to try to get their students on the same playing field as those without disabilities. Um, but they do have those hurdles to jump over. So with those struggles, adding even more struggles to that, it just doesn't lead to great things for these students. It causes harm. So one quote that I found was, "As internet use climbs, increased exposure to online texts and media can bombard adolescents with information they may not be fully equipped to understand." So that's just talking about in general. Adolescents struggle with internet use, using it appropriately, and navigating those platforms. And that's just the general population. So for students that already struggle with navigating texts that they are familiar with, or texts that they've been taught for many, many years how to read, it seems like there's a bigger struggle, or that there would be a bigger struggle for special education students. So with focused studies and research on this connection, hopefully the next generation of parents can be well informed on the topic and make any necessary changes to their parenting methods in order to help their children to be as successful and harm-free as possible. I did leave out, just slipped my mind, but I included it later on. This could also help teachers to inform their own education. If you happen to cruise through one of your units faster than you thought you would, might be worthwhile to lead a lesson on proper use of social media. And that doesn't have to be like cringy teacher telling you how to, I don't know, text in a appropriate way. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It could just be, look at the source that you're getting your information from to see if it's even reliable. But this could have big implications for parents, students, and teachers. So a couple terms and definitions that I used throughout this that I felt were important to make sure everyone understands. So when I refer to special education students, I'm referring to students who receive special education support as mandated by the IEPs or 504 plans that have been put in place to help them succeed. So that's just straightforward. If you have that, you are considered a student in special education. Social media, any digital platform that is designed with the intent of encouraging digital interactions with others, be that through direct messaging, photos or videos sent directly or indirectly, messages posted on the individual's own account to be seen by those that come across it, and more. And academic success, the act of participating in an academic setting in a manner befitting of the expectations for the activity. This could be in the form of homework assignments, assessments, presentations, group collaboration, or others. These are definitions that I came up with myself through my experience as a teacher and through my own usage of social media. So the big research question. The aforementioned conditions, my own experiences as a special education teacher, and the numerous times in which I have heard teachers and parents blame children's lack of academic success, forgot a few words there, on their phones, have led me to my pursuit of a better understanding of the correlation. And I cannot stress enough how many times I have heard parents and teachers blame their kids failing an assignment or a test or just not doing so great in school on their cell phone use. So that really got me thinking down this road and wanting to know more. So the guiding question for my study on this topic will be, to what extent is social media usage correlated to the academic success of high school students who have been identified as needing special education support? Literature review. So, fair warning, my literature review. It's mostly, what I found was mostly talking about with a general population of students. I wasn't able to find much, and quite frankly, I just settled on this idea of narrowing the population down to special education students today. So I just wanted to make sure I got this assignment out on time. But yeah, everything was talking about a general student population. But multiple studies have shown that there's actually a negative correlation between the two variables, meaning as social media usage goes up, academic success goes down, while others even labeled the correlation as significant. Other studies showed correlations between social media usage and other variables that have been shown to lead to lower academic success. This could be not understanding what they see in these posts on social media, or just taking it for granted, or taking it at first glance. So not really looking at who posted it, or why, or what their source was. A lot of the times, because of the aesthetic appeal involved in these apps and programs, just mostly the younger audience take it at face value, and they see that something crazy happened, and they just, that's it. It happened. And it very well might not have, or it could have gone down a different way. So that's a very real problem that was found in previous research. Also, it could cause, like, spending so much time on these applications just to pass the time, not to deliberately go out and text somebody or message someone for a good reason, just like doom scrolling. It can lead to problems in the classroom. If you've spent time in a classroom, then I'm sure you've run into students who are on their phone in the middle of class, and that's a lot of the times what they're doing, at least in my experience. So it's been shown to cause issues for both the students and their instructors, because I think, as you might have picked up on by my explanation of that event, it doesn't feel great for instructors to see that. Other studies emphasized that the lack of knowledge from children on proper social media usage can lead to cyberbullying, which can lead to significant negative effects on the kids, both in the class and out of it, or even in the hallways with their friends. It's also been excessive social media usage has also been linked to procrastination of academic work, which naturally just leads to lower academic success. So found a lot of information on the links between social media usage or technology usage in general in academic success, but haven't found much about the special education side of things. So that's where my research comes in. So for my study, Participants will be selected from a high school, forgot an A, from a high school that I will be working at this coming school year. A minimum of 30 students who have been identified as needing special education support will take place in the study. Not knowing exactly what I'm doing next year, I have a general idea of what I'm teaching, but I don't have my schedule or a class list. I don't know what I'm going to have access to. So the sampling method that I'm going to use has not yet been determined because I'm not yet sure what I'm capable of doing. But ideally, the study will try to keep an even distribution of genders amongst the participants, and the grade ranges will be similar. That way I'm not unfairly comparing, well, I'm not deliberately comparing, but like if a kid gets a 75 on a 10-page paper, it's not being unfairly graded on the same scale as a 3-sentence paragraph. So for my method, obviously I'm going to have the parents and kids sign consent forms that say they're good to take part in this study. Then I'm going to issue a survey to the selected students where they will be asked about their usage of social media, which apps they use, how much time per day or week they spend on those apps, and what their perception of their academic success is. So that'll right off the bat give me an idea of what they expect of themselves. And because this is my first time interacting with these kids, it'll give me an idea of what they think is going on here. Step 3 is collect this data and ideally form 3 tiers of time spent on social media. So that'll be like a high usage tier above however many hours or minutes per day, a average tier, and a low end of the tiers. This will help me to better gauge any correlation that I find. And step 4, throughout the school year, I'm going to gather assignment and assessment scores from the students to log in a chart where the students are broken down into their tiers of time spent on social media to make data analysis easier. For the data analysis, I kind of just explained it, but after breaking the kids down into those 3 tiers of social media usage, I will track the results on various assignments and or assessments throughout the school year. By the end of the year, I should be able to average the scores from these different types of work and then average those scores for each respective tier. This data should allow me to draw conclusions that would help me to determine if there's any correlation and whether it's positive or negative between social media use and academic achievement for special education students. In terms of validity and reliability, I'm going to be sure to record only assignments or assessments that ask for the students to demonstrate similar skills. So I kind of talked about this earlier. It wouldn't be fair to judge a 10-page paper on the same scale as a 3-paragraph or 3-sentence paragraph. There's a lot more room to get a lower score on a 10-page paper than there is on a 3-sentence paragraph. So I'm going to be sure to gauge their scores on a even playing field. I will also be sure that no one other than myself will have access to the survey results. The other kids won't see them, the other teachers won't see them. It's just going to be me. And any names will be removed when I go to the actual write-up part of this. I can't remove the names until the end, because otherwise I have no way of knowing whose scores to put where. Yeah. So the scores recorded will also be from a variety of classes to lessen any potential of bias. I like to think I am not biased at all, but nobody's perfect, and I have never seen any area where I have been biased towards or against any students. But to remove any possibility of that whatsoever, I'm going to do it over a variety of classes, so that there's multiple instruction styles and instructors that will all be at play. As far as limitations go, this is only taking place in one high school, so any differences that could be present in terms of comparing the results to other schools down the road or in a different district, whatever, it's not going to be accounted for. And given the small population size of the school, I'm not going to be able to get a ton of participants. It will be at least 30. And it will also make it harder to do the whole keeping everything on the same scale thing, because most likely I'm not going to find 30 students in the same grade who have special education support, given the small size of the school. Also, this is being done through a survey. I can't ask the kids to pull out their phones and show me their screen time, and quite frankly, I don't want to. So any results of screen time on social media and anything else on that survey is going to be self-reported, which obviously leaves room for answers that aren't truthful. Implications. So if the study goes the way I want it to, there should be solid evidence on the impacts of social media on special education students in high school, be they positive or negative. Given my literature review, I have an idea of what those results will be, but my research could very well show something different. So these results, as I talked about earlier, should give both teachers and parents an idea of how they can change their own practices to better support these kids and set them up for success, both in the classroom and outside. So here are my references, and voila. If you have questions, please ask. Thanks for listening.